Hey there, gang. We're back again.
Uh,
Oh, gonna have a good time this week again. We got a special guest with us today. We got the professor himself, Eric Breen. Good morning,
hey,
Eric.
Good morning, kids.
Oh, how's everybody doing this morning?
doing well, doing well. Well, you never know what you're going to get on a Saturday morning, huh?
Oh. That's why I wanted to make sure you paid attention to those title cards because that was some extra production effort right there.
Had I known, I could have breened the intro.
Oh man. Well, we're gonna, I guess, start off. We're gonna have Eric gonna tell us this Eric Breen story today because both Shannon and I have been dying to hear the story of how he started and got what was his first comic that he picked up, all that stuff. So I'm hoping we're gonna get some of those great answers and great stories today. So,
Oh, yeah.
but so how we want to do this? You want to just start right off, Eric, or do you want to start showing comics or whatever you want to do, brother?
It's your show. You tell me.
All
What
right.
what would you like me to do first?
Well, why don't you just go right ahead and start from the beginning? How's that? And tell us just how you got collecting and whatnot.
All
Oh, yeah.
right. So yeah.
And then we can throw in comics in between and whatnot. So
Okay. As well as I can remember it, when I was a little kid, around I don't know, 9 years old or so, I bought my first comic. I think it was a Justice League. I don't even remember the number. I think it might have been 94. But yeah, Batman's carrying the Flash back into the satellite, and he's like ripped to shreds.
Oh, yeah.
And
That was 91, I think.
well,
Yeah.
I remember, I probably remembered the TV series a little bit, so I recognized the Batman character, so I bought that. I don't even know what happened to that, and I remember, I think Batman 201 I picked up at some point, um, again because I recognized the character, and I want to say that I bought Fantastic Four 114 for some reason. Those stick in my head, but I didn't really care because I was I didn't really resonate because I was a baseball card collector and I was fanatical about that. Well, about I want to say August or September of '75, went to a baseball card show at this hotel, and somebody had a little stack of comics. So I looked through those and I go, these kind of look cool because my brother had gotten into comics also by that time, and I remember Spider-Man 31 and 34 from the original series. Probably got them for quarter 50 cents a piece, and bought those to go with all the cards that I picked up. And I guess that must have kind of gotten the itch going. And about a month later, my uncle took me to some drugstore, which actually is about 2 blocks from where I live now. I don't even know if it's there anymore. But I picked up Fantastic Four 167, Iron Man 83, Tomb of Dracula 42, because I was a monster movie fan. Also, I used to get the monster magazines and all that. Batman, I think 272, Detective 456, and Action 456. I remember buying those 6.
wow.
And
Stuff.
from that point, each week or whatever I could, I'd go back and get a little more. I remember buying one of those early Super Team families and one of a couple of the other DC reprints. And I didn't know that they were reprints. Hell, but each month I started picking up a few more titles. So I think I added Superman, and then a couple months later, Spider-Man, Marvel Team Up, Avengers 2 and 1, et cetera, et cetera. And by the end of 76, or in that first year, I was getting everything I could, everything I could afford to get my hands on. And we had a place where there was a place in Cincinnati called Moles, and the front of it was used records. In the back were stacks of back issues and Rolling Stones just sitting on tables. That's to this day, that's probably the coolest place, that I can remember, because what more could you ask for?
Oh yeah.
And
Oh man.
sold back issues. So I've got a couple things. I remember Spider-Man 101, I think, was my first Spider-Man back issue. Unfortunately, I don't have it anymore, and gonna wait till people really get tired of Morbius, and maybe I'll be able to afford that again.
Yeah.
But it just kind of grew from there. And I did the standard. I got to like 16 and a half and sold the first collection for beer and gas money. Then immediately started right back. And that was the collection that became the 55,000 behemoth that I had until 2014.
Holy mackerel. 55,000 books, man. We were talking about it before we came on. I can't imagine. That's over double what I know I have in my collection. I can't imagine that. That's just amazing. It had to be an incredible collection.
Well, you've seen the room tour video I did.
Yes.
In those days, that was the Marvel room. The next room down was DC, and I had the pegboard with all the keys. And then across the hall, I had the indies. Now that's what I was about to say. Didn't your wife or kids? Kids? what are those?
What are these concepts?
I'm that defective human that didn't follow that path. So I had 3 bedrooms literally full of long boxes. And when I did sell them, I sold Marvel in 2014, filled a truck. DC in 2015, filled a truck. Indies in 2016, filled a good chunk of that truck. So it literally took 3 years to get everything out. And by that time, I was already sprinkling things back in.
Oh my!
Because
God.
I quit drinking 31 years ago and never looked back. That was easy. Comics, not so much.
Well, congratulations
that's the
on
drug we get rid of. Yeah.
Because part of that thing is, if you fall off and unfortunately it's the same with smoking, even though we're considered lepers. If you fall off the smoking wagon, it's like, oh man, that sucks. Or if you quit a hobby and you start back, oh well, no problem. But if you fall off the drinking wagon, it might be over. So I said, there's always that, that's in the back of my head. I said, yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Wow. Incredible.
Congrats, man. Yeah, I got a first cousin. He's probably a year older than I am. And man, he's been that way since a teen. And, even if I think me and a couple of his brothers kind of suggested to him, so, man, so you need to give this stuff up. You're not going to be around long. But he looks like he's about 75 years old right now, or 80. He's just.
Well, we'll tell you, because I can make I can see the humor in anything. When I was getting to the point where I realized it was, time to stop. But before that, I had a running joke that if you ever catch me rooting for Kentucky, put me in the care unit. And in 1992, the Duke Kentucky game, the Leitner shot. It's the only time in my life I've ever rooted for Kentucky. And for those 2 hours, I was all in, because I'm a Carolina fan. Duke is a 4-letter word where I come from. And when that bastard made that shot, and I'm rooting for him, and I know it's a complete coincidence, 36 hours later, I'm checking into the care unit.
Oh my God.
So
just all kinds of trauma there, huh?
I root for Kentucky and I check myself in.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't know if I was telling Rod or somebody else, because I lived in Ohio for about 7 years when I was younger. Lived in Mansfield, and when we moved back to Kentucky, where my folks are from here, be outside playing with my cousins, and this is where most of them were at. And then all of a sudden they started going inside. So where's everybody going? I said, "Oh, UK is on." I was like, "What's a UK?" And then I found out, of course, I kind of got hooked on it and all that. And I'm a fan, but I'm not like one of those, if they lose, I want to go out and start slashing my wrists or anything. Yeah.
Well, I did learn. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was never a Kentucky fan because of a lot of the fans, and I said I've always been a North Carolina fan, even though I've only been there once in my life. But I finally got to go down there to see a game at the Dean Smith Center, and the most inbred, obnoxious, blowhard Carolina fan. It was everything I've ever hated about Kentucky, all rolled up into one idiot. And I realized if I lived there, I'd probably be a Kentucky fan.
Yeah.
That's all relative.
Right.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm gonna let's check out the peanut gallery today. I forgot to check them out first thing this morning because I was so excited for having Eric on the show here. So here we go. Let's check out the peanut gallery. What's going on today? Oh, we got Michael Taylor. Good morning, sir.
Hey, Michael.
Morning, Michael.
Great to have you on board with us today. Is Maranya. Welcome aboard, Maranya.
Cool.
She got up early for this. She's a night owl.
I'm usually this early to bake my ham for Easter. There we go.
There you go.
And we got Paulo Costa, the Eric Breen story, coming soon from the Hallmark Channel. Starring Eric Breen as Eric Breen. There you go. And Jackson Roy Kirk, good morning to you, sir.
Hey, Jackson.
And Maranya saying, we want Eric to monologue. How was it you do that, Eric? You got to give us the monologue.
I am ready to monologue.
There we go. There we go. And Jackson Roy Kirk, back when dust was still clean. Hippies collectible. Tom, how you doing?
Oh, he's going to love today's show.
Oh. And Triple P, how we doing today? Greetings and salutations, ladies and germs. Michael Taylor. Eric, good memory. I wish I remembered where, when, what comics I first bought. Yeah, I can remember vaguely, but that was pretty good. You remembered what, 5 or 6 issues of the exact stuff? That's
well. They say the cells you had before you started abusing alcohol stay in your head. So I'm told.
Hey, whatever works, right? Dr. Von Chilla. John, how we doing? Good morning, sir. And Maranya, I don't remember my first comic book, but the two that definitely I recall from my childhood were Super Team Family #7 and Legion of Superheroes, which had the Night Girl and Cosmic Boy romance in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Paul Acosta says, I don't remember my first comic, but I still have my first superhero comic. Awesome. What was it? Dr. Von Chilla, the first comic book I remember was Amazing Spider-Man #32. Very cool. And Jackson Roy Kirk, I remember and luckily still have my first comic, FF 155. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I don't know about you guys, but I think I have maybe 1 or 2 from like my 60s collection. That was it. I got most of my Bronze Age is right off the rack, but man, my Silver Age got thrown out twice on me. So, yeah.
Painful.
Yeah. That hurts. And Triple P saying, the first comics I bought off the newsstand was West Coast Avengers, New Mutants, and Power Pack in 1984 because the numbers were near the first issues or close to it. Aha. There we go. And you'll have to pardon me, guys and ladies, if I'm reading kind of funky this morning. I had to go to the doctor's get a shot in my right eye because my eye was bleeding. So they put some stuff in it, but it makes it's very blurry, and it makes it look like I'm looking through a like a sheet of some kind. So I'm really struggling this morning to try and see the words. So
we'll be fine.
All right, Triple P says I wanted to start at the beginning of a series. Yep. Totally understand it. And Maranya says, at one point, my lowest number Iron Man books were 32 and 35. Awesome. That's right. I forgot she's a big Iron Man fan, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Jackson Roykirk, was Eric reading this off cue cards?
Oh, come on, Jackson. You know I can't read.
And Funk Comics is with us today. Good morning, sir. Great to have you on board. And Happy saying good morning to John. And John is saying good morning to Tom. And that's right. That was when Shannon said Hippie's going to like this, I believe. So
yeah, he knows what's coming.
Yeah. And Maya Greenblatt's with us this morning. Good morning, Maya.
Good morning.
Great show, gentlemen. Thank you very much, sir. Michael Taylor saying hello to Dr. Bonchilla. Dr. Whoops, went right over one here. And Dr. Bonchilla saying to Maranya, your avatar is very David Bowie hunky dory. Very cool. And Dr. Bonchilla says howdy to Michael. And Maranya says, thanks, Dr. Manchilla. That's some of my artwork. Oh, cool. And Happy Collectible says, I started in the 50s. What was your first comic book, Tom? What was your first comic book? We want to know everybody's first comic book. And Maranya says, I shared this stream on Twitter. Hopefully more people will show up. Always welcome everybody to show up. Thank you very much for doing that, Maranya. Appreciate that. And appreciate the support for the show. All right, we are caught up with the chat. So, who wants to go first? You want to go first, Shannon? Show some books, and then.
Yeah, I'll go first. I don't care. A couple things I just got. Well, I had one for a while, but a couple weeks, and I just got this open in mail. And I know everybody loves all this stuff. You got the Bronze Age Superboy featured in this issue.
Is that the looked like the artwork from their
yeah, that's
model?
from that Aurora model thing Dave Cochran did.
That's all. Thought it looked familiar.
Yeah.
Hey Rod,
cool.
Can you full screen him so we old people can see?
Yeah, we've talked. Shannon and I talked about that, and I forget every time. Doggone it! There we go. There we go.
There we go. And just got this one a couple days ago.
Oh, neat.
Oh crap! We didn't get that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got tired of missing stuff like that, so I went ahead and broke down and got the subscription. So, all right, I pulled these out, and I know, like I said, Hippie's going to love this stuff. So let's show some romance books.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Oh man, those are so hard to come by.
It took me a while to find them all, and to find them all like at a desirable price. You know, sometimes you get lucky, and most times these things are outrageous. So this was like years, you know, and you guys know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I mean, because I'm trying to close out the 100-page super spectaculars, and the romance ones are just the ones that are killing me. Yeah, they're the hardest ones to get.
You know, as far as you know what the stories are like, and the art is pretty much about the same gang of idiots, but they're just kind of cool to have. You know, I love the 100-pagers, so you know, regardless, I was going to have them.
Mm. Yeah,
I think there was like 7 or 8 of each of these, Young Love and Young Romance.
I think there's 8 of each.
Yeah. Which one did you say you were missing, Eric?
I think it's the last one of either Young Love or Young Romance. I can't remember.
There's 113. The Score. Yeah, these are just
Oh, that's a neat one. A white cover
yeah.
with the blue. Oh, I love
It's,
that.
I mean, you don't see these hardly very much at all out in the wild.
No.
Especially that one.
Nope.
Yeah, that was the last issue of Young Love. And then we're getting into the Young Romance.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of these, Rod, you and I have talked about this a lot of times. You would see these house ads.
Yep.
And you always see the romance books, and I never really paid much attention to them because I was trying to get all the Justice League ones and the Batman ones and the Unexpected and all that kind of
Brave
stuff.
and the Bolds, and yeah.
Right. Yeah. Most of these are pretty decent shape, except for that one. That one might be an upgrade.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Hippie is probably like sticking his finger down his throat right about now.
Oh. I mean, some of these I've never ever seen.
Yeah.
Like that one, I don't recognize that one.
And this is the last of those 100 pagers. 204. All right. Let somebody else go.
All right.
We'll give Hippie time to come back from the bathroom and wipe his mouth. And
Oh. All right. What? Where did he go? There we go. All right. Well, Eric, what do you say? You want to jump in?
All right. I'm gonna go off the board here from comics, and I said I was talking about baseball cards being my first love. So yeah, I said when I started, it was 1969, and I said my dad was a big baseball fan, so he I'm struggling to get this thing. Okay. So the first year I started collecting cards was, I said, 1969. And I said, if I can do this without getting them all over the place, here's like the album I put them in.
Oh,
and that's what they looked like that year.
Yeah.
And
incredible.
What I liked about these in the old days was they would release the cards in series. And by the end of the season, the school had started back, so the print runs on the last couple of series weren't as much as the early ones because the kids had grass cutting money and whatnot. So those became a little bit more valuable. But one of the things I liked about cards was when I started was the inserts and I think I came along at the right time because there's this thing called decal inserts, which were these black and white photographs.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Then there was the peel and sticks, and there was about 55 of those, and like there's Aaron, Mays, Mantle, etc. And these weren't part of that, but they had stamp albums. You can tell it's the late 60s because of the
the copy on it.
Yeah.
Man.
But I don't have many of the stickers, but here's what they look like.
Wow.
And
I've never seen or even heard of that before.
Yeah. So, and then the first couple of years I was collecting, like they had like oversized cards and these scratch off games you could play, and it was just a lot of fun. So I mean, it was a neat hobby to be in at that time. So anyway, so I've got some older cards I thought I'd show just for the heck of it.
Sure.
So here's a 54 Mickey Mantle.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Here is let's start with Big Poison, Paul Wainer.
Oh yeah.
And you can't have Big Poison without Little Poison, Lloyd Wainer. Here's a 52 Bowman Warren Spahn.
Oh wow.
Nice.
That's one of my all-time favorites, and God, the worst trade the Reds ever made. Frank Robinson.
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
Old 30, my ass.
Right.
Here's no self-respecting collection is complete without at least one Jolton Joe.
Oh, audio, yeah.
Nice.
At least I didn't have that on display when the meth head broke in. Here's a 51 Ted Williams.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
Figured you'd appreciate that one, Rod.
Yeah.
Here's Hank Aaron from the 56 Topps series.
Oh, yeah.
And one of my all-time favorite players was Roy Campanella. Here's a 1953 Bowman when there was just beautiful photography.
Yeah.
And nothing on the card to get in the way. There's a Pee Wee Reese card where they staged him. They had a guy sliding into second, and he's like jumping over him to throw to first. It's basically the first action card in comics history. Unfortunately, that was on display, so I no longer have that.
Oh,
Sad.
That was my all-time favorite card. I was so happy to get that back, and maybe again someday. But anyway, here's Ernie Banks rookie. That was the set that had the Hank Aaron rookie that went bye-bye.
Yeah.
And also this was the first year that Ted Williams signed a deal to be with Topps. Now, as I told Rod the other day, the card number 1 was one of the cards that got stolen when I was broken into, but they gave him both the first and last card in the series. So here's the last card of that series.
Oh,
wow. Oh, cool.
Incredible.
And here is 52 Jackie Robinson.
Wow.
Man.
And I think this came after he just walked the bases loaded because he had no control in those early days. But here's the Sandy Koufax rookie card.
Nice.
Let's see. Here's I don't know how much of a Red Sox historian you are, but here's Jimmy Fox from the 1941 play ball set.
Nice.
So that's talk about would Ted Williams have been the greatest player of all time had he not missed 4 full seasons to military service?
Right.
Would Jimmy Fox have been the greatest player of all time if he didn't have the same problem I had for years? And then there's Tony Canigliaro, and
oh
we
yeah,
all know that story.
Poor Tony.
Here is Hank Aaron from 1957, and you may say, wait a second, I don't recall him being a switch hitter. He wasn't. The negative got reversed.
Oh, wow.
Either didn't catch it or thought it would be neat to release it like that. And since an M, it looks the same either way. Here is, it wouldn't have worked if he'd still been in Boston, like this Warren Spahn.
Right.
Now, 2 great managers who had very brief and undistinguished baseball careers on the field as a player. There's Sparky Anderson.
Yeah, he was okay.
he was the regular, I believe, second baseman
for Phillies
this year, and then never played again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another one of those things like, he had a second place finish, so let's get rid of him so he can go win the World Series in the American.
Yeah, that's I didn't appreciate him until he was gone, and I think he finally became a great manager in 1987.
Yeah,
because he his first time he always had so much talent. Anyway, and another manager, a future Hall of Fame manager, who I believe got into 1 game as a player, Tommy Lasorda.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
That's cool.
Here is a 1953 Mickey Mantle.
Oh yeah.
I don't have the 52. Anybody that knows anything about cards, that has sold for 7 figures.
Oh yeah.
I had a chance to get one for $1,500 and passed on it because eyes is stupid. Here's a 54 Bowman Willie Mays.
Nice.
Don't look behind you. They might be gaining on you. Satchel Paige.
Wow, that's cool.
Wow.
I don't know how old I am. I ain't never looked. I believe that was another one of his quotes.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite cards as a kid, and I love this guy. Didn't realize at the time that he'd actually been exiled to Cincinnati in the late 50s. Don Newcomb. This particular year, he won the Cy Young and hit 356 and with 7 home runs.
Wow.
That's an okay year.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
No.
And there's the Roberto Clemente rookie.
Oh, it's nice.
Oh, wow.
Let's see, it's 2 more
Nice.
here. Got 54 Willie Mays. We share a birthday, so he was always my favorite player growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I missed his prime.
Mm.
And last but not least, Stan Musial,
Stan the man.
Wow.
who would not appear on a Topps card until 1959, the All-Star card, and then the last few years he agreed to appear on Topps baseball cards. And that's what I got.
That's
Wow.
cool, man.
Incredible. Wow. Man, oh, man. I still cringe though when I hear this, that Sparky Anderson thing, 75 and all,
Yeah, I see Eric has got the Red Sox and Reds gear on the back of the couch there.
Well, like I said, that was 75 was I didn't really realize at the time because I've since become more of a quote unquote historian. The 75 World Series, because the Reds had lost in 70 as the favorites to the Orioles. They lost in 72 to the A's. The A's didn't have Reggie Jackson, and the Reds were heavy favorites. Lost again.
Yeah.
Got knocked out of the 83 playoffs by an 83-win Mets team. Don't go in 74, so they get 75. And it's like, man, if not now, when? Not realizing that
Right.
Boston had been, I said I didn't have the context of the heartbreak of 67, which was a dream season, admittedly, because no one saw that coming.
Right.
And then you have to go back to, I think, 46, the one World Series Ted Williams appeared in and didn't do squat. So, I mean, I realized it, and then not seeing the crystal ball 86 down the pike. And then going, and Red Sox are.
It's okay, Rod.
I was born there, so I love the Red Sox. Anybody but the Reds, I'm rooting for the Red Sox. And so I said, when 1978, Bucky Bleeping Dent. 2003 changed his name to Aaron Bleeping Boone. That's why 2004. Like my brother and I have talked about this a lot. He was so happy with that. You're down 0-3, 19-8 in game 3. I mean, they were done. And they literally do what had never been done in sports. They come back. Not only do they beat them, they, Alex Rodriguez slapped the ball out of Bronson Arroyo's hand. Then Jason Varitek slapped the taste out of Alex Rodriguez's mouth.
Yeah.
And they finally, they win 4 in a row. Phil and I talked, said, I would have been okay if they lost the series.
Yeah.
Which obviously they didn't because they just steamrolled St. Louis. But yeah, I could see 75 must be like, and then by 86, if you're a Red Sox, I was like, they're never going to win.
Yeah. I mean, I was a Red Sox fan from, I don't know, somewhere around 74, 73, 74 is when I really got into baseball. But to me, that 75 series, still the world's greatest World Series ever played. Just the amount of talent that was in those games, incredible. I mean, it was just like a Hall of Fame game or something,
Oh, yeah.
with all those players.
A lot of people say Boston won that series 3-4.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't realize there was another game after the Fisk homer.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll see all the interviews with Fisk and say, yeah, game 6 was our game 7.
Have you heard the story about how they got the Fisk shot?
Yeah,
I don't know if this is a true story.
Yeah.
And the giant rat running across it, he like trying to get out of the way, and he moved the camera and just happened to catch Fisk doing that.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know if it's a true story, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, exactly. No. But
Yeah, it's so funny you were talking about 2000.
But I don't mind longer games.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny you were talking about 2004 because I actually watched the documentary on that last night, 4 Days in October, where they came back from 3-0, and I said that was a good.
Yep.
That was I never had been a Red Sox fan, but that was the year I really started rooting for them, just because I hated the Yankees so much. Of course, in '76, the Reds swept them, and they had Billy Martin and Pete Rose going at each other and said, I want to wipe that smirk off his ugly mug. And, Rose was like 20 feet from Mickey Rivers every time he came to the plate. And,
Yeah. Oh, I know.
What was funny, I was telling Rod about this. I used to have a subscription to Baseball Digest when I was a kid. And I think like maybe a month after the series, they had a little article in there. And at that time, a guy named Ray Shore was the Reds' advanced scout. And he's like, I said, he came back, after looking at the Yankees, said, it won't take any more than 5 games.
Well, that was great as a Reds fan in '76, but you already saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
Because free agency was just getting started. Gullett signed with the Yankees after the World Series.
Yeah.
The Yankees ended up winning the next 2. The Reds made their second worst trade in history by trading Tony Perez.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to believe in those days. Like 2 years later, they get Seaver in '77. So it looks like, okay, maybe it's a comeback. '78, they traded for Vida Blue. It was back when Finley was getting rid of everybody with a pulse. In fact, Joe Rudy and Raleigh Fingers got as far as in the Red Sox dugout in uniform before that trade was pulled. And Bowie Kuhn pulled the Vida Blue trade off. And then here's 5 years later, the Yankees can buy literally anybody they want.
Right.
So that's why, obviously, the Reds have been back once since '76.
That Joe Rudy deal, that whole thing. Well, they nixed that. What did he say? It was because of the best interest in baseball?
Oh, yeah. Bowie loved his best interest in baseball, which turned into best interest of the Yankees.
Oh, I remember being so mad at that. It was like just arbitrarily, no, I don't think that's going to happen. Best interest in baseball.
And years later, when he was washed up, the Reds picked up Raleigh Fingers and he elected to retire because the Reds had the no facial hair policy and he wouldn't get rid of the handlebars. So he just left the game.
That didn't get changed till Griffey Jr. came over?
Greg Vaughn.
Greg Vaughn, that's right.
Yeah, a year before. He didn't. Yeah, and by that time, I guess, Marge really couldn't say anything by then because I think she'd already been kicked out of baseball once. Yeah. So I guess they realized it was outdated and let it go because they had a pitcher in '82 that stopped shaving to get off the team, and it worked because they were dreadful that year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Well, let's check in with the peanut gallery here. See what's going on. What do we got here? We got Jackson Roykirk saying hit the like button. Thank you very much, sir. Greatly appreciate that. And Hippies Collectibles, first purchase with my own money, Superman 149. Awesome.
Wow.
Nice. Maranya, we need to have Shannon and the doctor go first. Then they can have a classic Breening. That's true. I wasn't thinking, Maranya. You're absolutely right. Oh, my gosh. And Mr. Lead Paint, LP, how you doing this morning? And Jackson Roykirk says, do subscriptions come out before the stores get them?
I guess they're talking about the Tomorrow's books, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that, Eric.
I'm not either because Tomorrow's doesn't have the most reliable distribution. So I would imagine yes. Actually, I'm going to see a friend of mine later today that writes for Back Issue. I'll ask him. He may not know, but
right. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, you'll see it in stores sometimes, and then the shop they have up here. You familiar with this shop in Richmond, Eric? The Collectibles Plus or whatever. I can't remember the name of it.
No, I'm not.
Guy named Todd runs the place. He was at the Lexington show a couple of weeks ago.
Hey, Hippies Collectible says, just remembered I have a roast in the oven. Be right back. And Fireball Comics. Hey, welcome aboard this morning. I'm late. What did I miss? Oh, you missed the Eric Breen story, at least the part 1. But we've got him for the next hour and a half or so. I'm gonna keep him busy, keep him telling stories. And let's see here. Dr. Von Chilla, DC Romance Comics, 100 pages. Gasp. Shannon is officially the man. There you go. And Maranya says, I don't ever recall seeing the romances on the spinner racks when I was a kid. They had just the DC and Marvel superheroes at this North Carolina supermarket that I visited once a year. I'm trying to think. I don't remember seeing them on the spinner racks where I went either. And that's why probably a lot of them I've never ever seen before, except in house ads. Jackson Roy Kirk said, love the house ads from the 70s books. There we go.
Yeah, I think we got sooner or later we're having an episode just about the house ads.
Yeah, absolutely. And Maranya, Fireball Eric told his life story as a monologue.
So you didn't miss anything, Fireball.
And Lead Pig says, sweet run of DC Comics, Romance Comics, Shannon.
Thanks, sir.
And Hippies Collectibles, LOL.
There it is. All the finger going down the throat in my head.
There you go. There you go. And Dr. Von Chilla, Tom, if you need some Ativan, we can work something out. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I'll take it, John. LOL. And Michael Taylor says, nice book, Shannon.
Thanks, sir.
And Mastodon Comics and Music, welcome aboard, sir. Good, I didn't miss it. Thanks for the alert, YouTube. And Dr. Von Chilla says, I vividly recall the NFL stamp albums of the early 70s.
Oh, I remember those too. Those were
cool. Yeah. Yeah, they were.
And Higgy Pop Comics. Sorry about that. Higgy Pop Comics, welcome aboard. Thanks for coming in. Welcome. Hey, guys, great show. Thank you very much, sir. And if it's collectibles, I have about 6,000 baseball cards. Wow. Holy smokes. And Graphic Man, hey, Micah, how you doing?
Hey, Micah.
I was tortured by this man you see on your screen with a birthday tribute to the not-so-great one. Such mistreatment.
Don't make me do it again, Micah.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. If it's collectible, spawn and sane and pray for rain.
Right. Haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah, that's an oldie but a goodie. Dr. Von Chilla, Joe DiMaggio, we welcome him on our side. We want him on our side, rather. And if he's collectible, let's play 2.
Ernie Banks.
Yep, Mr. Cub.
Jackson Roy Cook, I'm so afraid Eric will treat us with more of that today as well, Graphic Man.
You're begging for it, Jackson.
Uh-oh. Hey, Maranya says, the Roy Campanella story, TV movie, hit me like the proverbial ton of bricks as a kid. It actually helped me release some grief about my grandfather, who had passed that same year. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Maranya. I vaguely remember that because Roy Campanella, what happened to him? He wound up in a wheelchair, right?
A car accident. He was, I think he was working at a liquor store as a delivery guy because back then you had to work in the off season, and he skidded out on an icy road and ended up paralyzed. It was between the 57 and 58 seasons because I guess he was, if I remember correctly, yeah, they had moved to Los Angeles, but he was still in Brooklyn because he hadn't gone out there yet. Yeah, hence the icy roads in the winter. And so I don't think he ever made it to LA. I think 57 was his last year as a player.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that movie too. I remember that being a big thing. And Lead Paint, Stan Musial, Stan the Man. Tippy's Collectibles, Double XX. And Dr. Manchilla, years before the Seinfeld episode, I encountered Joe DiMaggio at a Dunkin' Donuts in York, Pennsylvania. That was spring of 1985. I waved at him, and he waved back. Awesome. That's cool, though. Maranya, welcome all the friends of Old Fossils, Foof, and all of the Silver Age regulars in the audience today. Thank you very much, Maranya. And Dr. Ventilla, I was more in awe of him as Marilyn Monroe's ex-husband than I was of the legendary baseball career.
Yeah, but Arthur Miller couldn't hit.
That poor guy.
Oh. And Recess. Welcome aboard. Hi, Graphic Man. I enjoyed seeing your comic boxes. They look outstanding. They do look cool. I thought about doing it. Like, who was it? Alan of After Comics also does it. And they just look cool, but I just haven't brought myself to do it yet. Hippies Collectibles. Mickey, my all-time #1 fave. And Nuke Nukem.
Yeah.
Say hey. Say hey, kid. Michael Taylor. Eric, great cards. I know the Reese card you were talking about. Yeah, the reverse negative Aaron card.
Well, thanks, Michael. I'm glad I didn't put anybody or too many people to sleep with that run.
No, not at all. And Graphic Man says, thank you, Recess. And Michael Taylor says, hello, Graphic Man. And Lead Paint says, the man, best for last. And excellent cards, says Hippie. And Dr. Vonchilla, I know nothing about baseball cards, but even I can feel the awesomeness of those cards, Eric.
Well, I think it's a game respects games. This is like nerd respects nerd. Because like I said, like when Micah showed that video where he went to that toy museum. I know nothing about toys, but I was just slack jawed watching that because it was. Awesome.
My jaw was dropped the whole time I saw that.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
Incredible. And Graphic Man saying hi to Michael. And Graphic Man saying, Eric, are you enjoying the spreaded pitch clock? The speeded up pitch clock.
Well, games are quicker, but I said we talked about that. We did. Rod and I were talking about that the other night. That's great and all, but I don't mind the time, and I know they did it to try to get the kids who have no attention span anyway. I'm okay with that, but I'm still irked by the Ghost Runner on second and extra innings.
Yeah, I never
that annoys me to no end.
Yeah, and I knew the DH was going to be coming to the National League. I was like, all right, it's going to happen. So
that's progress. I'm okay with that because we had 50 years. Damn you, Ron Bloomberg. To get ready for it, but the runner on second is my bugaboo now.
Yeah, that would I don't like that either. That's like Sandlot, not the movie, but just how we used to play. We'd have a ghost runner. We also used to play what's called pitcher's hand. If you didn't have a first baseman, if they could throw the ball to the pitcher at the pitcher's mound, the guy would be out going to first. It seems like those kind of Sandlot rules, But and Maranya, we got. I remember baseball cards from a scene in Pride of the Yankees and Babe Ruth being dissed.
Been a while since I saw that one.
The great Bambino. And Mastodon Comics says, I'm a Reds fan because of the Red Machine legacy. Oh, no.
Those were two really, really good years.
Unbelievable. Hey, Hans, Captain Strangelove, welcome aboard, sir. Holy Joe, you have the most amazing collection of baseball cards I've ever saw. So when are you going to sell those and build the most amazing comic book collection?
Hans, I did that once, and like a dumbass, instead of making that even better, I got back into cards, and now even if I sold those, I couldn't put together what I had in comics. So I guess to make a short answer long, probably never.
And Michael Taylor says, Now that I think about it, I do remember when I bought my comics off the spinner rack, sports and non-sports cards, Matchbox cars, magazines off the rack, etc. I know there's so much cool stuff. Hippies collectibles, hiya Hans. And Dr. Bunchilla saying, hiya Hans. And Hippies collectibles saying, Yankees. Ah. Oh my gosh. For years we could not beat the Yankees. Oh my God. In the playoffs and stuff. Just killed me every year throughout the 70s.
And
Unbelievable.
The one time they had public sentiment on their side, they couldn't even win. 2001.
Yeah.
Oh,
They let a 80-foot dribbler get past the shortstop.
Captain Strange says, hello to one and all, you wonderful people. Hope you all ate your Cheerios this morning. And Gratu Orloff, welcome aboard, Gratu. Nice to have you here this morning. Hello, I was filming an episode when you guys started. I put you on the TV, so you guys became part of the show. Well, there we go. We got Breened on his show. Look at that.
I think we might be able to retire it now.
Right. We've done it all. Yep.
So what is that, like streaming Bremen? I don't. We got to have something to call that. That's awesome. Cool. Dr. Monchilla said, I had Wheaties, Hans. And Mike Attila says, at my local candy store growing up through the decade of the 70s, it still stands today, but it's now like one of those Hallmark stores. But it's cool that at least it's still there today. A lot of the places, I'm sure, where you guys did and where I went and whatnot, they're long since lost to history.
Oh, yeah.
And I miss some of those places. Gratu says, my grandfather played for the 1931 Yankees.
Awesome.
Very cool. Lefty Weinart. I remember him talking about that. That's right.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah,
if I remember correctly, did you say you got into a fight with Casey Stengel?
Yeah. Yes. There you go. Absolutely. And Michael Taylor says, I meant now, not no. Well, yeah, I figured that out, but I'm very literal. So, Captain Strange Life. Wow, I'm seeing so many people here worthy of having their pictures on their own baseball card. I wonder if the card companies ever offered something like that.
Well, no, they didn't do a series of comic creator cards like back in the 90s, Eric.
I don't remember if they put the creators on there. I remember the Marvel and DC cards, but
yeah, I think they actually did like a series. You had like Todd McFarlane and George Perez and all those guys. And,
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Now, I do know there's a card shop where I live where the owner, his business card is a baseball card.
Oh, that's cool.
That was pretty clever.
Yeah.
Now, did you guys ever get your pictures on baseball cards?
No.
No, I've got a bunch. I got a bunch of them. When my son was in Little League, he played. Well, he played from T-ball up through high school, but we got a few cards of him like that. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, there used to be an amusement park in Florida, Boardwalk and Baseball. It was the spring training home of the Kansas City Royals for a while, and they used to. Part of the thing was you could go in this one place and get a pictured baseball card done. So I did that, but then I came upon what my true calling.
I know it's coming.
Yeah, it was. You could put your picture on a magazine. Wow! I looked across and I saw Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
I knew it. I was going to ask you if you did that.
Absolutely.
Where is
it? Absolutely. Oh, I did messed up the whole back when I had black hair. Messed it all up and doing the whole thing. I still got it somewhere here, but I'll have to pull that out someday.
Yeah,
but,
not someday. When the next one of us that's going, you're looking for that. We're going to see that today.
Oh, I have no idea where it would even be. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I fell in love with that. I says, oh, that is so cool. I got to have one done. But absolutely fun time. Now that place, Boardwalk Baseball, gone. Not even around. I don't even think the ballpark's still there anymore. So, all right. What else we got in the chat? We got Dr. Von Chilla saying, Gratu. Wow, that's too cool. That's it. And Gratu saying, the Laurel and Hardy you showed last week was the first comic book I bought all by myself. Oh, that's cool. So that's what we want. We want to hear those stories. What was the first one you bought? What? There we go. And Paulo says, my dad played hardball in the late 60s. Missed out on a district level title. Then he was conscripted to fight in the Portuguese colonial war. But there were no professional handball anyway. Wow. That's incredible. Mm. Dr. Von Chilla, Laurel and Hardy, #1, a tough book. I ordered 5 copies from the Koch warehouse circa 1989 and only received 1. Tough book in high grade.
Yeah, they actually advertised a digest of Laurel and Hardy, but it never came out. About the same time as that first Tarzan digest.
Yes, I remember seeing the ads for that. And Dr. Gratu Orloff says, mine disappeared. Oh, no. I hate it when they disappear. Dr. Von Chilla, Arthur Miller couldn't hit. LOL.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Mike Dilla, my father had Marilyn Monroe and Arthur Miller as passengers in his cab once.
Wow.
Nice.
Very cool. And Dr. Von Chilla, hizzle shizzle, Michael. And Fireball Comics, explain Ghost Runner to the non-sports inclined geek. Eric?
It's when now in extra innings, they start with a runner on second. It's the guy that made the last out in the prior inning to try to speed up extra innings, which basically, instead of needing everybody having the same shot with around the bases, both teams start with a runner at second.
Yeah. Like I said, it just seems like the Sandlot rules you used to play when you were a kid and up the street, Spinner Rack Studios, welcome aboard, sir. Good morning to you. My God, this Breening guy is like Jackson Roykirk. He is everywhere. Maybe they are related.
You take that back.
Oh, you could have said one and the same. I don't know.
Dave, you hit a nerve.
Uh-oh. And Paulo Costa, Spinner Jackson is actually Breen from the future. Bionic arm and everything.
Oh, God, my future. Do the
Mariah
Ricky Starks.
Mariah jumps in and says, my professional sports teams growing up were the Baltimore Orioles for you non-MD folks. Okay, because I was lost there for a second, Mariah. And the Washington Redskins, which will never be anything else but the Skins to me. And same here. That's when we see them, we watch football. We still call them the Skins here in my household. So, and Jackson Roy Cook, crack open your most valuable slab for that comment. Spinner Rack Studios.
Oh, you should be basking in that, Jackson.
Michael Taylor, Eric, I subscribed to your channel a few months ago. Long overdue. I wish you would start doing videos again. I commented on one of your old videos.
Thank you, Michael. There's a possibility, if things work, of me doing one today.
Oh, cool.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Going comic shopping after this. In fact, we're going to be up in Steve from I Love Disney and Comics neck of the woods. And if we get back in time, I may do a video.
Oh, cool. Something to look forward to today. All right. Let's see here. We got Spinner Rack Studios waiting for my wife to cook my breakfast. She is still in bed. That's my politically incorrect statement for the day.
Well, no, get out of bed and make my breakfast, woman. That would be your politically incorrect statement for the day.
Ouch. It's been good knowing you, Spinner Rack.
Yeah, my wife would be laughing her head off.
Too funny. That's great. Dr. Von Chilla says, Maranya, back in those days, the Redskins did the summer training in my town of Carlisle, Pennsylvania. John Riggins lives. John Riggins. And Mastodon Comics and Music, not to bring them up again, but Mike Messina grew up just down the road from me. Heck of a quarterback, too. Led his high school to the state finals 2 years in a row. There you go. And Michael Taylor, my father also had Jackie Robinson in his cab as well. Wow. You got the regular celebrity cab going there.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's awesome. Jackson Roykirk, yes, and the annual Eric Breen video.
Is it annual or is it biannual? How long
By
has it been,
by this time,
Dr. Montilla says, Maranya, Dr. Montilla, I remember watching the infamous Joe Theismann leg. Oh, yes. Ugh. That ended his career. His restaurant had the best screwdrivers that I've ever had, though. I remember that footage.
Tim Crumry in the Bengals Super Bowl. I think that happened to him also.
Oh yeah. God. Yeah, that kind of hurt him a little bit.
And there was a wrestler like Dante Martin last week. Same thing.
Yeah. Did you ever see the one Sid Vicious?
No.
The wrestler Sid Vicious jumped off the top rope, came down, his ankle went at a 90-degree, about halfway up his shin.
Oh.
That was man. It reminded me, when I think of Theismann, I think of Sid Vicious, the same thing.
Probably didn't hurt his in-ring performance, though.
Yeah, no, they didn't miss him much. Michael Taylor, very cool, Eric. That should be a fun one. Yes, sir. We're looking forward to it now. Now you got some weight on your shoulders here. You got some pressure. Dr. Von Chilla says, indeed, the celebrity cab. Yes, sir. All right, and then we got one more here from Michael Taylor. Jackie hailed him from the street. Very cool. All right, so we are caught up with the chat. So what do we want to do now? I got a couple I can show. While we were still on the romance comics thing. So hold on a second. I'll put it up here and we'll go through it real quick. And I'll take that comment down. There we go. All right. Well, this isn't one, but I had it on there, so I'll show it anyway. Abbott and Costello, number 8 from Charlton. So nice. I used to love that cartoon. It was on. We used to see it on Major Mud, which was a morning TV kids live show. We got Career Girl Romances, number 57. And Career Girl Romances, number 70. And I apologize to you, hippie. Tom, I'm sorry. We got, let's see, Dr. Tom Brent, Young Intern. I believe this is number 1, I think.
Oh, wow. I've never seen that one.
One of those. Charlton has these ones that, man, you never see them, and then all of a sudden they'll pop up, and I know I've never even heard of that before.
I've never heard of that one either.
No. Just Married, and I don't know what number this one is. This is number 6. No, number 29. It looks like.
Cool.
And Love Diary. They had so many different books. Love Diary. And this is number 26.
I think in that Charlton Companion book, they said they published something like 1,400 romance comics.
Yeah, yeah, I read that. Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot. Romantic Story, number 65.
And Vince Coletta did a lot of the art.
And then we got Sweethearts. Sweethearts, number 70. And Teen Confessions, number 21.
Old teens.
Yeah. Teenage Confidential Confessions. This is number 16. And round it out, I got Teenage Love. Oh, yes. Number 30. So I tried to find my Go-Go Checks DC romance books, but for some reason I could not locate them. So let's see here. Let's bring everybody back in. Here we go. So, all right, Eric, or who wants to go next, Eric or Shannon?
Go ahead, Eric.
All right.
You can share some more stories with us as well.
Well, I don't know if I have stories left, but I'm sure you'll say something that'll remind me of something. All right. Well,
Put me on here. Put you on. There we go.
I'm going to show some of these because I hauled them down from upstairs and they're heavy as hell. So I'm also a fan of reference books. I love reading about comic book history. And Mike Benton did a series called Comic Books in America.
Oh, cool. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
And the back cover is a nice assortment of Golden Age, Silver Age comics.
Oh, wow.
Sweet.
And then there were a series of books that followed. Here's Superheroes of the Golden Age.
Oh,
Black
wow.
Terror. Yeah.
And
That's neat.
Superheroes of the Silver Age.
Oh, boy.
And it's got the greatest comic book cover of all time on the back. Silver Surfer #4.
Oh, yes.
Someday I will own that again. But it's it's really well done, very informative. So
Well, cool.
That's very cool, man.
let's see. Then there's the science fiction
Oh, wow.
comics.
Wow.
Illustrated history.
That's neat. I've never seen any of these.
I haven't either. That's so cool.
There's
Yeah.
the crime comics.
Wow.
And then the one that was the hardest to get, if I remember correctly, and I'm sure you know what genre is coming. Horror.
Wow.
There we go.
Yeah, let's see if I can find any disgusting. But yeah, it covers everything from Golden Age up through like the mid 80s. So I think these books were done in the mid to late 80s.
Wow.
And they're, like I said, I don't know how. I've had these for probably 30 years, so I don't know how easy they are to find. But
Yeah, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
now,
That's what I'm thinking.
here's one that I know can still be obtained because it's from Tomorrow's. They do a series called The American Comic Book Chronicles.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've got a couple of those. Those are pretty nice.
Yeah, they do one for each decade unless the decade necessitates two. This is the second half of the 60s. And what they would do is each year they would do let me see if I can get to a year here. Bear with me a sec. Yeah, it's like each year they'd introduce the year and do an overview of what was going on in the world. And they would do a timeline where they would intersperse real world events plus big events in the comic book industry.
Oh,
And
nice.
it covers all of the companies. Like they'll start with the DC, go to Marvel, and then give each company that was relevant at the time, their time to shine in the book. And these are fantastic. I mean, I said there's, I highly recommend this to anybody that likes comic book history. It's a wonderful.
Yeah, those are incredible.
Now for here's if anybody that watches Metarog will recognize this instantly.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I still need one of. I've got both the Marvel ones and one of the other ones. I just need one volume. Yeah, those are really cool.
Running out of room to put those. Here's the other half of the Marvel.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
Unbelievable.
going in reverse order here. Here's the photo journal K through Z.
Yeah.
And this, if you look at the back cover of this, it's more of the same. And if you just open up to any page,
Oh
It
yeah.
is everything. It
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that's the one I need right there. Didn't Gerber used to sell them on the website?
I don't know. In fact, I think Paul sold me these,
Yeah.
and being the selfish bastard that I am, once I got them, I didn't care where anybody else could get them. I have here's the back cover. Now, I have for years you couldn't go into a half price books without tripping over those in the used book section.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still the case, but that's where I've seen them several times since then.
Oh, wow.
But so I don't know if you can go on. I'm sure somebody's got them on eBay now. Everything else is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that's it for that round for me.
Yeah, pre-internet days. I mean, those things were precious. I mean, because like I mean, I talked to Rod, and he didn't do a whole lot of mail order, but when I started getting into back issues, I mean, that's where everything came from. Of course, you probably had a little bit better because you were like right next to Cincinnati. You had more access to back issues and stuff. But where I was raised up, I mean, you had to get mail order because there was no other way.
Yeah, well, once I discovered Paul's shop in the early '82. Before that, like I said, there was that Moles place I was talking about, and there'd be places would come and go. This guy opened up a place in his basement and found out years later he got most of his stock by stealing it from Paul.
Oh,
I didn't know that at the time.
ouch.
But
Holy man.
Yeah, I went to. I think the first time I went, that was like the first time I went to a comic shop. It was like in '84. I think I went and saw like a weekend series with the Reds and stayed overnight in Florence, and I found Paul's shop like in '84. And and I told Rob this story. I found a bunch of Byrne and Claremont X-Men comics at a yard sale for like 10 cents a piece, and I wasn't really into it. I was like, okay, but I like the art, and I went and like traded them all like for store credit. Like, okay, everybody has horror stories, but yeah, I love the shop. To get back up there.
Well, Shannon told Rob before we went on the air, I sold Fantastic Four and Daredevil #1s as a pair for $80 once. So,
oh wow,
I said, no matter how dumb you think one of your stories are, there's always someone dumber.
Oh yeah, yeah. I gave away my Daredevil one. My duplicate. I had a duplicate, and I gave it away as a part of a Christmas package. So I don't miss it. It's one of those things like you was talking earlier, Shannon. That type of thing. It's great because you're giving it to somebody who's going to appreciate it just as much as you do. But it's just like it's the Marvel Flasher rings. That's a different story. I'll tell that one at a different time. But let's see. Let's go to the peanut gallery again here and check out what's going on. It seems like it is really popping today. Let's see. What do I got here? Hippies Collectibles. Made that hit. Yes. Yeah. On Theismann.
yeah.
Back on that. Oh, that was vicious, man. Oh, and Captain Strangelove, Cab Driver. You're going to hear that song now in my head. Cab Driver, once more time. Recess. The Sid Vicious video is squeamish. Yeah. Not sure if it affected his ability to grab people. Well, I guess we'd have to go to Arn Anderson for an answer on that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Jackson Roy Kirk says, ugh, back to that funny book stuff, eh? Sorry. Oh, what do we got here? Hippie saying, hey, yeah, bad. Absolutely. Love that cartoon. Love the movies. Used to love to watch those movies. Sunday nights at 6:00, they would show them around here. Yeah. Hippies Collectibles says, more? Let me check the roast again.
Yeah. He's probably polished off a bottle of Maalox by now.
Oh, no. Sorry, Tom. Paulo says, career girl romances. Why do I have the feeling the stories ended with the girls getting married and stopping their careers?
Because you've read some of them.
Yeah, could be. Could be. Captain Stranger says, I meant taxi driver. I don't know that song. Let's see. Recess says, great romance books, Doctor. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Maranya says, back when those were published, Paulo, that would be the likely ending for those stories because the women, oh, I like that. The women folk only had careers until they could snag a man to take care of them. Took me a second. What the devil is that? Women folk. Oh, that's classic. That's awesome. Women folk. Love it. Jackson Roykirk says there were 5 issues of Young Intern, all from 1963. I guess. That was a very good year. Michael Taylor says, nice book, Doc. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. Dr. Von Chilla, I used to have my breakfast at a small cafe called Bel Air House in Carlisle. And during those summer training weeks, Joe Theismann came in and chatted with all of us each morning. Very friendly. Very cool. Wow, that's neat. Did he walk with a limp? That's the question. No. And Mastodon says, those collections are pretty sweet, Eric. Gotta admit. Very nice. Jackson Roykirk says, I have the 70s Comic Chronicles. Awesome.
That was good. That was a good one.
Maranya says, Eric, what went on during our year of birth in that book? The comic book history one.
Oh, there was the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah.
As far as what happened in comics, I believe Spider-Man's first appearance, Thor's first appearance, Hulk's first appearance. So we picked a good year.
Wow. It was. Now, was that 62?
62.
There you go.
Yeah, all the cool kids are in the Born in 62 club.
62. Michael Taylor.
I'm just 1 year behind, so,
What's that?
I'm just 1 year behind.
That's it. You're right there.
We'll grandfather you in.
That's it.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Mike Taylor says, I just received a book in the mail. Batman, The Complete History. What does it say? I'm targeting the book you showed, Superheroes of the Golden Age. Oh, nice. Yeah, some of those books are really nice. I'm going to look into, I'd like to get the Silver Age one. That would be really cool. Jackson Roykirk, no, the Gerber guides are now harder to get. That started just when I decided to get them. Oh, just when you started to go after them. And Michael Taylor says, I also want to get the Golden Age of DC Comics, 1935 to 1958. Very cool.
I think that's part of the Taschen book that was broken into sections.
Yeah. I got those on I got the 3 volumes, and then I got the one that's got all 3 of them in it. I got it on my shelf back here. Yeah.
See, again, not being smart, I bought the giant versions of both of those, and now I'm too old to read them. I can't lift them to.
Oh. They're seriously coffee table books.
When I did my room tour thing, I was holding up one of them like, and that was 3 years ago.
Oh my god!
That's why I'm like going to short boxes now. So
same here.
Yeah. Let's see. Spinner Rack Studios says, I bought the American Chronicles volume on Eric's recommendation. Great books, Eric. Hope you got your commission check from the publishers.
I'm just trying to decide where to spend those 3.5 cents.
And Dr. Von Chilla says the Jackson Roykirk, as he went into True Detective cheerleading magazines, Young Intern sounds something Ted Bundy would have been reading back in the 70s. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Michael Taylor says it's a huge 600 plus page book. Wow. Holy mackerel. Captain Strangelife, EB is the one who made me have a passion for romance comics, and I now enjoy an over appreciation an over appreciation for them, but only for the covers. I'll have you know, I never read them.
It's all the same story.
That's it.
It's
That's it.
amazing how many different ways they can tell that same story, though.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Spinner Rack says, I just happened to buy a FF #1 and a DD1 for $80.
Wow, there's another guy as dumb as me out there. Because the guy I sold him to is the guy I'm going to Dayton with later today.
Oh,
So, that didn't end a friendship when I can't even say when I sobered up because I was sober when I sold him.
Oh my gosh. And Spinner Rack also says, I just happened to have, it's in there twice, or did I click on it twice? It must be there twice. Yeah. Okie doke. I remember the photojournals being a big deal back in the day. We all wanted them, says Dr. Von Chilla. I remember those. Michael Taylor, Eric said, thanks for showing those books. Maybe you could show more books in the future, in your future videos.
If I ever get on any kind of schedule, I will, because I have a decent amount of those. Those are kind of the best of them, but I said,
And Mastodon says, time to go to a family event. Everyone have a happy Easter, Passover, Ramadan.
Ramadan, yeah.
Yeah, my eyes, it's so tough. And whatever holiday you observe. Thank you, sir, and you as well, to you and your family. And Jackson Roy Kirk, same to you, he says. And Maranya says the same. And Michael Taylor, I have my father's coin changer that he wore in his cab. Oh, that's neat.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is cool. Yeah.
Jackson Roy Kirk, 62. Excuse me, it's 1963 for the coolest kids. There you go. Oh, 1962 here, says Fireball.
There you go. Told you.
Represent.
Hippies, we got Fireball. Shannon, we got Fireball. You got Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh, and Hippies Collectible says 1950 here. Holy mackerel, man. That is awesome. And Dr. Montilla, the cool kids were back in 64.
Well, the Beatles were on Ed Sullivan, so you know.
There you go. And Maranya says, Shannon was born the year the greatest ever superhero was created, named Iron Man. No shame there for you, Shannon, she says.
Yeah.
Michael says, that could have been the coin changer that he used for Marilyn Monroe and Jackie Robinson. You never know. Absolutely true.
So, Shannon, have you had your birthday yet this year?
No, next month.
So at least you're hanging on to your 50s by a thread still.
Real slim, man. I'm telling you. Not looking forward to it.
Let's see. We got
just
Captain Strange Life. He actually I do read. He says, I do read the he romanced. Am I actually
No,
I do read the he romance.
Trying to say romance titles.
I just didn't want to admit it here amongst all the macho men.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm sorry, I butchered that. I'm terrible. Hey, Rob Brown. Hey, welcome, Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get Rob on here, show some of his artwork.
Absolutely. And Jackson Roy, I'll be 60 on Tuesday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, welcome to the club. All righty. So, where am I going here? Get that back here. Okay. So, Shannon, you want to show some more books?
Yeah, I'll show a few of those dollar books I was telling you about. A couple things there. Eric, you were talking about the baseball card where they had the reverse negative.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm sure you've seen the movie 61, right?
Actually, I haven't.
Oh, okay. Well, I think Anthony Michael Hall is playing Whitey Ford, but he didn't throw that. He didn't throw that way, and they did the same thing in that film. So he would be a lefty.
I think they did that in Pride of the Yankees too, because Gary Cooper was right-handed.
Yeah. I just thought that was kind of cool the way they did it. But yeah, if you're a baseball fan, you'll really love that movie. You know, Roger Maris and Mickey
Yeah,
Mantle.
it's strange that for as much as I love comic books, I don't go out of my way to see comic book movies, and I don't go out of my way to see baseball movies. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's a good one though. I'd recommend it. Also, I
I'll
want
check
to
it
give if she don't mind, I'd like to give a shout out to Maranya for her artwork. There's a site called deviantart.com, and she's got a bunch of her artwork featured on there. And cause I just kind of looked at it because I got an account on there and I had some model artwork, and I just and she popped up and was like, oh, she got a lot of cool stuff on there. So anybody wants to see more of Maranya stuff, it's on deviantart.com. And let me see.
Yeah, Jackson, when you go on there, stay away from that other stuff. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, no, it's not what you're thinking. As far as it's just like art of every
I've
type.
seen Maranya's art. She's spectacular.
Yeah. She's under Dr. Valkyrie on DeviantArt. Yeah,
Dr. Valkyrie.
Dr. Valkyrie. Yep.
Valkyrie.
She used to post a lot on Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to check
I
that out.
I was looking at my old account, and I noticed that for some reason she had popped up on there, so she got a lot of nice stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm just going to show some dollar books. I was showing Rod some of these earlier. Just I know the guy that Todd, that he was at the Lexington show, and he's, hey man, we got 15 or 20 new long boxes of dollar books, and I hadn't really looked through this stuff in a while, and I was, okay, I'll go check it out. So I went and bought some books. But what I was really kind of proud of, he got several totes. It's got like action figures. Some of them are still in the blister packs, and some of them aren't. But this was in a $5 box, and I was really happy to get this one. One of my favorite characters. Love the comic run, and
very cool.
Yeah, for $5, all day long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found a lot of good stuff. A lot of stuff like fill-in titles. This is one I had this originally, and another horror story. This is some of the ones that I lost when whatever that happened. But trying to complete this one, some cool stuff in it.
That's a good series.
And I knew this existed, but I didn't have it, so I was kind of happy to find this one. Kind of a companion book to the New Frontier. More Secret Origins. Guardian and Uncle Sam. And here's the Whitmer track I was telling you about. I think it's number 51.
Nice.
Yeah.
Whitman.
And I wasn't a huge fan of a lot of the new 52 stuff from DC, but I had a couple issues of this, and I want to go ahead and get them. I think I pretty much picked up the whole run while I was there. Different OMAC, but picked up some OMAC issues. Keith Giffen, Dan Dio.
Nice.
Rod, I know we talked about this. Trying to fill this one in. I actually read this. This was really good.
Yes.
Kind of had a really cool Bronze Age feel to it.
I wish they had not canceled that, because I loved the Brave and the Bold idea, and I really liked the fact that they were doing different things with that one.
Yeah.
So.
And this is actually a JSA book that I did not have. The only thing I hate is somebody put the sticker on the book. But where I work, we have to do a lot of rework on bottles of bourbon as far as labels and stuff. So I'm not going to have any trouble with that. More Secret Origins. It's another one I used to have.
Yep. Very cool one.
Yeah.
JSA, baby.
There's some more
JSA all the way.
Brave and Bold stuff. Back when Perez was first on with Mark Wade. Read this one too. This is another cool story.
Yep. Very nice.
And this is kind of strange to me, but hey, here's the rest of the OMAC run. Just kind of flash those real quick. So that's all the OMAC.
Oh, yeah.
And this, I forgot about this, Todd. I need to fill in several issues on this one. JSA Classified. I found some missing defenders from the later years where they should have called it the X-Men.
Oh,
Got some DC present, and all these were like from the 50 cents and the dollar bin, so pretty neat.
nice.
Got some Charlton action going on here. This is a little rough, but it was in the 50-cent bin, so I rescued it. A little torn up here.
Valley of the Dinosaurs.
Fighting 5. I'm sure these are reprints.
Nice Charlton, yeah. Yes.
We were talking about this one. This one looks like a Pete Morisi cover to me, but it reprints. Well, I don't guess it reprints, but it shows like the unpublished stories in black and white from Charlton. This one was by George Tuska.
Cool.
It's from 1955. So,
wow.
Some cool black and white sci-fi action from the 50s. Some Neil Adams goodness going on here. Didn't have this one.
Yeah.
I think this is the last Superman special I needed from around that time. Superman and Amazo.
Wow. I don't think I've even seen that one before.
A couple more DC Presents.
Yeah. Doing very good.
I think I just need one more issue of this and I'll be done with it. Anybody remembers this series?
I just remember that one, like we talked about. I just remember that particular one.
I think these Frank Miller covers, Eric, you know.
I don't remember if he did all of them or not.
Yeah. I think that's Frank Miller. Here's a Millennium crossover. Eric Larson doing the Outsiders. I hated, of course, after this was like right after Crisis that they came out, with like Millennium, and it was awful. But some of the tie-ins are actually pretty good. Got some Joe Kubert goodness.
Oh, yes. Nice.
And just for the heck of it, some Archie. Some more Defenders I didn't have. We've got a nice Silver Surfer cover here. And back to the New Defenders, aka X-Men. Don't know how interested I'll be in reading these, but I'm just a few issues shy on Defender, so I'm kind of anal.
Yeah.
And I picked up I think I had like 2 issues of this already, and I actually found like all the ones I was missing from this Ragman series.
Yeah.
Pat Broderick did the covers, and I'm not sure if he did the interiors on these or not.
Another cool character.
Yeah.
I don't think they're even doing anything with him now, right? They haven't done anything with him in a while.
I think the last I heard he was like in Justice League Dark. Here's one I did not have, an anniversary issue for Detective. And here's another one, Just Because. I was a big Sad Sack fan as a kid. Some original George Baker art. And Doom Patrol, number 3, the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. More Brave and Bold.
Yes, Box the Defenders.
Here we have Wonder Woman and Boob Window Girl.
Oh man.
Believe me, when All-Star Comics 58 came out, that wasn't really one of those things I focused on.
Oh yeah, Brother Power the Geek.
Yeah. And I'm trying to put back together my Power Shazam run. I love these Jerry Ordway covers.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ordway, man. He was fantastic on that.
That's all I got for right now.
Shan, if this helps, I know the Defenders kind of got lost in the shuffle in those days because there were so many Marvel series at the time that are still so highly thought of. But I went back and read some of those, and Jim DeMatteis was the writer on it, and they are very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they never bothered to put any really good artists on them. But I thought that particular run was especially Moondragon had been in the middle of her heel turn, and Odin put that ring around her head to keep her from.
I do remember that. Yeah.
And the dynamic with the three X-Men. I thought the Gargoyle character was. I really liked.
I did like that. The covers are really good. I mean, I think Bill Sienkiewicz did a bunch of those. And like I say, the inside art wasn't all that great, but I want to complete that one, and those were for 50 cents or a buck. I mean, I'll take them all day long.
Can't go wrong with a buck, man. So, all righty. Well, let's jump back into Peanut Gallery again, see what else is going on. Try to catch up on that. Maranya wishing a happy birthday to Jackson as he joins the 60-year-old club. And Dr. Manchilla, happy birthday to Jackson as well. And Michael Taylor, the comments are coming fast and furious. Yes, they are. I'm trying to keep up with them as best I can. Hippies Collectibles 61, excellent movie.
Oh, yeah.
And Paulo Costa says, don't think of it like that, Jackson. What would you say? What you should say is, I've been 30 for 30 years.
No, Paulo's still a baby, so
And Maranya says, yes, they flipped the uniform and film for Gary Cooper to portray him as a southpaw. Very cool. And Michael Taylor says, I know you guys are planning to do an interview with Rob Brown. Yes, we are.
Yep. Trying to get him on there whenever he's ready.
Yep.
Yeah. Username Dr. Valkyrie. Yeah.
That's it.
Some nice
awesome
stuff. Yeah.
I'm going to be checking that out when I get off this today. Jackson Roykirk says, right, Paulo. It's just a matter of the mind. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. There you go. And Jackson Roykirk says, thank you, Dr. V. Maranya, I'm finding this year a little harder to take.
When I hit 40, it didn't bother me, but 30 really bothered me for some reason.
Let's see. Maranya says, Jackson, I share a birthday with Jack Kirby, just not the birth year. That's a humbling birthday to share.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Jackson Roykirk says, only better birth date to share would be the one with the great one.
I'm not sure Mike would agree with that, but
yeah, exactly. Dr. Vanchilla says, indeed, the 1980s Secret Origins was chock full of gems. Very underappreciated title.
Yeah, especially those first 8 or 10, so they were really good.
Let's see. Those Star Trek pointed covers were great. Dr. Vanchilla says, yeah, Michael Taylor, some real blazers in there. Michael Taylor says, cool Dr. Fate cover. Yes, that was a cool Dr. Fate cover. And Maranya says, 2 of my best dollar box finds were the entire Funeral for a Friend event and the Teen Titans X-Men crossover prestige format book.
Wow.
Oh, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice find. If people wanted to repair tears on their comic books, make sure it's an archival quality acid-free tape. Anything else will destroy your books. And Spinner Rack Studios says the problem with dollar bin books is they are usually on the floor and I can't bend down that far.
These are actually on a table, so I was, I didn't have to go through that pain.
I've tried it. One of the local comic stores that I did go to, it's since been closed down, but they used to have them on the tables and on the floor. On the floors, that was tough, man. To try and get back up. So I feel your pain, man. I really do. Let's see.
I went to a Comic-Con in Columbus, Ohio, several years ago, and I was looking at some books, and there was a guy underneath the table looking through some long boxes. He had like red Nikes on, and he had long gray braids, and stood up, and it was Chuck Rosansky.
Oh man, Dr. Von Chilla says, Maranya, some of my best 3 for $1 finds from the 1970s were Spidey 14. Oh my gosh, and FF 48, House of Secrets 92. Wow. Yeah, precious memories.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Man, it's that Spidey 14. That really hits home because that's one of my favorites because it's got the Hulk in it. That's my earliest Spidey that I have kept because of the Hulk. Maranya says, my shop's dollar boxes are on a table and horribly out of order. I wish that they had a chair because I'd sit down and put them in order for them. I think that's a common problem for a lot of the dollar bins, 50-cent bins, is they might start out in order, but after a while, they don't last. Yeah. Paulo Costa, he says, the new Defenders are actually pretty good. I like them more now than I did when I was 10 years old. Peter B. Gillis is a very underrated writer. Wow. All right. Ragman lives, says Dr. Vodchilla. Mutsy.
Yeah, wasn't Ragman like the first Jewish superhero?
Well, was he? He might have been.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. And Jackson Roykirk says, boob window. Now you mention it, I never noticed. Maranya, just like you never noticed Sonia or Betty behind Jambo, Jackson. and who behind Jambo? Michael says that Defender has a little bit of a pre-code horror feel to it. And Maranya says, wait, who are you and what have you done with Jackson? Nice book, Shannon, says Michael Taylor.
Yes, sir.
And let's see, and Dr. Machilla says, Gargoyle was a wonderful, virtually unknown character. Yeah, absolutely. You don't hear too much or didn't hear about him even then. Michael Taylor says, the 60 mark, impressive. And Graphic Man says, Jack Kirby's birthday. Now there's a birthday worth celebrating.
Oh, sit down.
Oh, let's see. Michael Taylor, I had 4 more before 60.
Cherish them, Michael.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Venchilla says, Shannon, I spent my 30th birthday in London, so it was quite awesome.
Nice, John.
And Rob Brown says, by the way, Shannon, I finally got that Superboy in and the Adam Strange Neil Adams cover. Finally got them in my greasy little palms.
Yeah, I know. We were talking about those, man. A lot of those Superboy covers are awesome. But the Neil Adams, Adam Strange one from Strange Adventures, that's probably one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hippies collectibles. In the 70s, the Passaic bookstore
Right.
was my go-to for back issues. Would spend hours in that place.
Yeah, that was one of my main go-tos in as far as mail order back in the 80s and late 70s.
Wow. Michael Taylor says, wow, Dr. Vanchilla, impressive. Absolutely. And Dr. Vanchilla says, back in the 70s, the bargain bin books weren't even bagged. No, they weren't.
Nope.
Most of them still aren't.
And Ryan says, Jack Kirby's art is best with either Coletta or George Bell inking them. Boom.
Yeah, do I have to comment on that?
If Mike had just grabbed his chest.
Oh, man. And Michael Taylor says, exactly, Eric. Okay, well, we are caught up with the chat once again. Eric, do you want to show something, or you want me to go? Whatever you want to do.
I'll show another or one more quick handful because, I can't let all this romance go without showing a little.
Oh my gosh, it's already 11:48. Holy mackerel! This morning has flown by.
All right, well, just show a brief smattering here. No idea what. Oh, Prize Comics, All for Love.
Ah,
Oh, wow! I think I actually got that one.
yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
she looks pretty happy in this cover. And here's Boy Meets Girl.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Let's see. I don't know how many of these there are to see if I'm going to be breening anybody here, but here's Career Girl Romance 40 something. Here's 51.
Nice.
61. Did you show that one?
I don't think so. Looking to see.
Here's 62, and I've said this before. Don't know who this artist is, but I kind of liked him.
Yeah. I got some of that. I'd like to find out who it is.
Here's number 68. There's number 70.
That's the boom. There's the Breening right there.
All right, so it's
There we go. We have success.
And 71. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I think a lot of the Charlton romances were better than the DCs.
Yeah,
They seem to have decent talent on there. Here's a little ACG romance for you. Issue 85 of Confessions of the Love.
That's
wow.
rare. You don't see those too often.
I've never even heard of those.
Now, I've got about 6 or 7 of them. I don't know that I'll ever see another one.
Yeah.
Speaking of things you may never see again, here's Darling Love.
Oh, wow.
Now, who's that by? I don't recognize.
That's a real good question. Nobody's taking credit for it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Speaking of it, here's The Love Doctor.
Oh, that's never seen one of those before. That's funny.
Sounds like a Motley Crue song.
Oh, it's a first issue, too.
Oh, wow. There we go.
Yeah.
And this, I think, is one of those public domain reprints. The Dream of Love. And
Cool.
let's see, here's a couple of Falling in Love, number 18.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And let's see, here's number 35.
Cool.
Here is 59. And are you guys familiar with that? It's a meme on Twitter, how it started, how it's going.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Well, there's a bunch of it. It's like you can do it for anything. It's like, something looks really good at the beginning for how it started, and then it's all gone to hell. Like, it's how it. Anyway, so how it started.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Nice. Very nice.
how it's going.
Wow.
That's a pretty cool gig.
Yeah.
We
Nice.
will close on that.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's so cool.
man. Oh, too cool.
Nice stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we are closing in, man. These 2 hours have flown by.
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable. Let's see here. Go back to the chat one last time here. See if we can't catch up on some things. Let's see. I lost my place. Where was I? Do. I have 4. Do. By the way, yeah. Okay. Got that one. Let's see. Impressive. Yes. Okay, we can start here. Let's see. Dr. Ventilla, back in the 70s, the bargain bins weren't even bagged. That's correct. Remember that? And then Maranya, Jack Kirby's art is best with either Coletto or George Bell inking him, right? Remember that one? Let's see. Exactly, Eric. Dr. Ventilla says, Passaic Books was one of the first mail orders I ever did too, Shannon.
Yeah, they had like a big black and white catalog, This League and Strange Adventures, Mandy, like 75 cents a piece.
Wow. And Jackson Roy, bring us. And Maranya says, oh, 1 more hour to go, so to bake my ham. It smells too good here.
You guys are making me hungry while his ham.
Yeah, really. I can tell that. Eric hasn't been breened yet. We just had to save the Breening for the last round there. So Jackson Roykirk says, but he is showing us with love. And Rob Brown says, I'm strangely attracted to romance comics, but their prices are crazy. Oh, well, I'm strangely attracted to Planet of the Apes, too. Not sure what that means.
Yeah, I think that first issue of the Marvel Planet of the Apes comes out this month, or is already out.
That's right. Maranya says, Eric has breened. Now all we need is a showing of the great one.
Kind of feel like I let you down.
Yeah. Graphic Man. Anti-disestablishmentarianism. Just wanted to hear Dr. Silveridge pronounce
Hey, he nailed it. He nailed it.
I got it. No. Oh, Micah, boy. I'm telling you. Boy, I oughta. Michael Taylor says, oh, okay, I almost spoke too late. I must have been on the Breening. Dr. Montilla says, I was Breening yesterday when I pulled 14 copies of Creatures of the Loop on the Loop, number 16 from the collection. Oh, my God.
That's like Breening on a loop.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, wow. That's like me and Mandy 18.
And Rob Brown is laughing at Micah. And Jackson Roygrick, Darling Love, number 8 from 1951 by Close Up.
Wow.
It's nice to have our own research department.
Exactly. It's cool. I learn something new every week here. Michael Taylor says, CGC, I hope Gratu's not watching. Hippies Collectibles, Crime Suspense, excellent romance cover, LOL. Excellent romance cover. Yeah. Mike Taylor says, yeah, I know those 2 hours flew by. Yes, they do, man. Every week. And Graphic Man, it's getting late. Shannon and Doc have to turn in now. Eric never sleeps.
That's not by choice, Micah.
Do you ever seriously? When do you get to sleep? Because I know you are a lot on a lot of different things. I mean, I don't know how you find time to sleep.
Yeah, I don't sleep more than damn. So I try to go from like 1:30 to 8. Doesn't always work out that way, but if I can grab a nap in the middle of the afternoon, I will do that on occasion also, because it's.
See, I'll sleep from 8 o'clock in the morning 8 o'clock at night till 9 o'clock the next morning, and I still want to take a nap in the afternoon.
You know why you can do that? Because you've never polluted your body with alcohol and tobacco.
Wow.
Believe me, it makes a difference.
Oh, I don't know.
Thursday night, I got vertigo. Never had that before. Sober. And I went upstairs to get to bed, and I laid back in bed, and it's like all of a sudden I was on a ship at sea.
Oh wow!
And I almost tipped over, trying to get back up. And I go, okay, that's gonna make sleep a little tough.
Wow.
Gone by the next morning, but it's like,
wow.
I said I have enough trouble. Actually, falling asleep isn't the problem. Staying asleep is.
Wow.
That's my problem. Yeah. A lot of times I go to bed at like 8 or 8:30, or try to go to bed at 8 or 8:30, and when I do, it's like, okay, I'm up like clockwork at 2 or 3 in the morning, and I've learned not to look at the clock, but because 4:30 comes early, and most time when I look at the clock, it's like 3:30 or 3:45, and then I can't go back to sleep. So
yeah, you have to weigh that. Is it worth it?
You're right.
Yep. Well, what do we got here? We got Rob Brown. He says, I just figured out what's wrong with Shannon. It's all that thin mountain air.
That's not the only thing that's wrong.
Oh, Maranya says, get Graphic Man to pronounce loquacious.
Yeah, Rod, just a little context. One of the guys we do our readings with, Venkman.
Yeah.
Anything that's not monosyllabic is an adventure with him. So he was just passing. If we gave that to Venkman, we'd be here all day.
Oh my gosh. Oh, too funny. All right. We got Michael Taylor saying we need a breening alarm for Wednesday. A breening alarm. Woo, woo, woo. Maranya says, wow, that's propitious. Propitious.
You know why I know that? That was the first word that was in a comic book that I didn't know. So I mangled it.
Well, I'm battling, I'm seeing half the word, so I'm trying to catch up to it, and wow, that was a challenge. That was a challenge. Michael Taylor, oh man, Eric, vertigo. Dum, dum, dum. Yeah, vertigo is not fun. My mom gets vertigo sometimes, and my wife gets it sometimes. So it's not a lot of fun. I know that. Michael Taylor says, sorry to hear that.
But it's not necessarily serious, because when I looked it up, and I Googled bed spins, and here's a shock. Everything that came up had to do with being drunk. And I said, yeah, well, that you're about 30 years late for that helping me. And then I realized that it's not that serious. And I actually just waited it out a few minutes, and then still couldn't lay on my back. But at least when I rolled over, I didn't roll off the bed. So that's.
Wow. Let's see. Jackson Roykirk says, have vertigo off and on since 2008. Wow. Sorry to hear that, dude, because I know it's not good. It is not fun.
Well, actually, yes, for those of us that can't drink anymore, it was kind of cool for a minute, because you kind of got that old feeling back for, it's like, yes, it's cool. Till you stand up and you go, ah!
Oh, nostalgic vertigo. Oh, that's funny. Oh my gosh. Well, we have reached the 12. We're at 12:01. Holy mackerel. It's been a great fun 2 hours. What a blast, man. It goes by way too fast. So anybody got anything they want to share? Anything they're doing later on, or anything going on?
Let's just say real quick, thank you for having me on today.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
I'll have you on here.
I was going to lead off and say that George Lindsay and Donald O'Connor turned you down, so that's why you asked me to do this one.
I know Donald O'Connor.
George Lindsay was Goober.
Okay.
Yeah.
Donald O'Connor, wasn't he? Francis the Talking Mule guy.
He's also an accomplished dancer. He was Gene
Right.
Kelly and Debbie Reynolds, the third guy in Singing in the Rain, if I'm not mistaken, or one of those. big dancing movies.
So I was
But
like, yes.
Tune in tonight for Eglintine's Saturday night auction. He went to a convention last week and picked up some stuff that would be right down Fossil Alley or right up Fossil Alley. So
That's
might
right.
be worth it for some of us oldsters to tune in.
Cool.
Definitely.
And that's maybe a video. Maybe.
We're hoping. We're hoping, yeah. So, you got anything, Shannon, you want to share, or no? Are we all
Well,
set?
I got two of my grandkids coming over later. I think we're going to watch them for 2 or 3 hours while mom and dad has a date night, and so that should be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but Eric are usually in the shop on Saturdays. Is that right?
No, I work for my brother on Saturday. I'm not in the shop very much anymore, but if you're ever coming up, just give me a heads up, and yeah, I'll make sure that I'm there, because I when Metarog and Bub stopped by, it was a day I was working at the record store, so I missed them.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot you worked at the record store. I actually saw Jambo and Bub at the Lexington show. Hung out with them for a little while.
Yeah, I've seen Jambo several times in the store. And Steve from I Love Disney and Comics, I've met him in the store also.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'll when I know I'll have a free Saturday, to head up that way, I'll let you know. And if you got some time, we'll hook up there.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I'm usually working for my brother on Saturday, so if it would have to be like later in the afternoon, because I could close at 5. If you're ever going to be there from like 5 to 7 or whatever, I could do that. But
yeah, we could arrange that.
Sounds good.
All righty then. Well, thank you again, Eric. We couldn't wait to have you on. We were thrilled that you said you were going to come on and hang out with us. So thank you very, very much.
I'll miss you guys on Wednesday. I said if you ever want me to come back, just say the word and I'll clear it with my brother and be happy to.
Yeah, I missed the Wednesdays thing. It's just when I was on second shift, I'd love to get on the Fossil show, and then when I got the first shift, it was really cool, and it was like, oh God, I got to get up at like 4 o'clock, and by 8 o'clock I was fading, man. I was like, so. But anytime, I'm sure if I have a day off the next day or something, I'd like to get back on there and hang out with you guys.
Absolutely. I just find, since the early retirement thing, I'm still tired at 8 o'clock. I'm still tired, but anyway, I try to get on there at least once a month or something like that to at least get back on there, because I love hanging out with all them guys and everything. It's a lot of fun. It really is, and I miss it. So we're going to, I guess, let's see. I still got the whatchamacallit, the channel of the week. So I'm going to run the channel of the week. But before I do that, because then I'll go right into the whatchamacallit, the closing credits. I want to thank everybody in the peanut gallery as usual. It was hopping today. I tried to keep up with it, but man, what a peanut gallery we had today. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great to see you guys in there.
I mean, that's like we say it all the time. You guys are half the show, the peanut gallery, man, because without you, we'd just be out here bumping our own gums, So we like to interact with you guys and hear what you got to say, and you guys are always great. So, all right then. I guess we'll run the channel of the week, and then after that, we wish you all a very happy Easter or whatever you celebrate for you and your family, and we will see you again next weekend. So, all right. So,
good afternoon, kids.
Good afternoon.
All right, take care, everybody, and off we go to the channel of the week.
I don't think so. I think he's just showing the outro, and it's he's dancing along with music there.
How long you want to let him go?